Welcome back to the channel, guys.
We're back.
This is another found footage. Today we're talking about Mad Max.
The Road
Fury.
Oh.
No, not the Road Warrior.
Oh.
Fury Road.
Fury Road. Okay, seems like the right thing to do. Seeing as
Absolutely.
Furiosa's right around the corner. Yeah.
It is, and we're definitely gonna watch it and give you guys our thoughts as soon as we can. But for now, we can determine how it would, I guess, in retrospect, affect Fury Road. It's a prequel,
Yeah.
so like Fury
The
Road
comparisons are going to be there regardless.
for sure. Well, regardless of it being a prequel, sequel, spin-off, if it's related to the Mad Max franchise, it would be compared. But I think some expectations should be like locked down because I don't know where it came from, because
think everybody.
people are expecting Furiosa to be like Fury Road 2.0.
Now that's a different
that's not
conversation.
what
That's a
the
different
trailers
conversation. But I do expect
advertise.
everybody do expect a great movie. At least I am. Right, seeing the talk around it, seeing the cast. George Miller is a mastermind. Like, I'm expecting a great movie, so I can't wait to watch
Absolutely.
it. But as far as Fury Road goes, we know that it is a great movie.
What are your
That's
thoughts?
known.
What are your thoughts? You know what? Now, actually, before we give our thoughts, if you're new to the channel and this is like your first time here, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, click that bell, all three for free.
Entirely
Helps out
for
the
free.
channel a ton. It literally
It's
costs
cheaper than
nothing.
subscribing to somebody on Twitch, actually.
It actually is, believe it or not. But what do you think about Mad Max Fury Road?
Mad Max Fury Road is some straight up masterpiece shit. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I always talk about like the greatest action movies and the action movies that I love, and there's no fucking way that I could talk about those without talking about Fury Road.
It is
we're
impressive.
talking about a movie
It is.
that was sitting in my top 10 movies of all time up until Doom Part 2 came out literally a couple months ago. Like,
All right.
literally.
Put it out. Got it out the ring.
I got it out the ring because, like, I mean, granted, it might slip back in there, you know, give it some time, give it some years. But, I mean, Mad Max Fury Road is just one of those movies that you watch and you think about for a long time. And a lot of movies just can't achieve what it was able to achieve. So it sticks out like a sore thumb in the best way possible. But, I mean, from the casting of, like, Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron as Furiosa to, like, even, like, Nicholas Holt's little character in the movie and stuff like that. Like,
loved him.
there's some rich, like, acting going on the screen without even, like, heavy amounts of dialogue. Like, it's just like,
Yeah, it's definitely
it's
the dialogue's
straight
limited.
it's
but
straight like body acting and like faces and eyes, and I love that. And George Miller just directs the shit out of this movie, and I think he's gonna do the same thing with Furiosa. I'm just gonna be honest. But there's just sequences in Fury Road that just straight up
They
make me
are
go, how was
judged.
this filmed?
And I
Did
know
anybody die?
This movie was in like production hell for like 10 years before the movie.
We're talking about Fury
Probably,
Road?
yes.
Really?
Probably long. Yeah, Mel Gibson was supposed to obviously
really?
play. He's Max.
I didn't even know
He
that.
was supposed to be Max.
I didn't even know. I just
Obviously,
thought
and then
the
all
whole
the
time.
crazy
Okay.
things came out of Mel
So they
Gibson.
kind of decided to do like a reboot kind of thing?
No, it's
Oh, then why
just
is his name just the same?
he's the same character. It's just
Oh, it's just a
not played
recasting?
by
It's just
Mel.
a
Yeah,
recasting?
yeah.
Oh,
it's just-
okay, that makes
It's just
sense.
recasted.
Sorry, my dumb ass.
And it's crazy because, like, the fact that this movie exists, could you imagine being attached to this project ever since George Miller, like, gives you, like, the idea and, like, a decade goes by and you're like, this shit's never getting off the ground.
then
And you
you
do it
see it in its
anyway.
full vision.
And then you do it anyway. And the actual production of this movie then was also messed up. They had to go to like different countries and film because where they were gonna film ended up getting like drowned or something.
Oh, wow.
And so like it's just this clusterfuck of like events.
I mean, we
leading
could have
up
had
to
a
this.
full movie at the bottom of the ocean
But
instead of like in the desert.
I'm just saying, like, could you imagine being like going through all of that and then in the end you watch the movie and it's like a certified banger, like one of the best
masterpiece,
of
if I
all
do
time.
say so myself. I mean,
What's the highs for you? What's
what's
of
the
this
highs for
movie?
me? Are you kidding me? Well, Charlize Theron as Furiosa is definitely one of them. I don't think that has to be discussed in any Like, Charlize Theron as Furiosa is just an all-time casting, period. It's the same thing with, like, when you see the Furiosa commercials and ads and you're like, oh, damn, Anya Taylor-Joy is playing a younger version. It's an all-time casting. I see what you're cooking, George Miller. Like, it's an all-time casting right
Her
there.
eyes.
That's
It's
an
the
insane
eyes.
high, and then down to the practicality of all the action sequences and the VFX mixed into it, the sound design. The highs are so fucking high as
It's
far as
so-
like car action goes. There's not a single movie that has car action that is so
Like,
damn good,
tangible,
Like, don't get me wrong,
kinetic.
I love racing movies. Ford v Ferrari, fucking banger. Gran Turismo
Amazing.
even had some amazingly dynamic action sequences with the car stuff. But this movie is like, let's give that a steroid. Let's inject some steroids into that and see what happens. Let's put it in this little box. Let's see what happens. And it's like, that's what you get in this movie. It's like the craziest shit ever in the best way possible. Like,
even though the Mad Max like original movies were widely like popular, Mad Max Fury Road kind of hit on a level audiences weren't expecting, and I think it's because there's so many people that have not watched the original Mad Max movies, and I do know that like this was probably a crazy injection into people's bloodstreams, because if you've never watched a Mad Max movie and you went into the theater
dude,
to
if
watch
I was in
this,
theater watching this
and
shit
you saw
in
people
2015,
on poles grabbing people
bro,
from other
if I
cars,
was watching this in IMAX in 2015, I would dead ass get up and
people
salute
painted
the screen.
and bald,
Like,
and like it's dystopian, and like water is like from the gods. It's the crazy. It's like
you walk out
such
the theater like
wild
Drake
thing.
and Josh. That's how you walk out the theater when you
out
see
of
Mad Max.
was it the roller coaster?
Yeah.
I forget what it's called. It's called like the Destroyer or some.
But that's how you walk out the theater after watching Mad Max Fury
Yeah,
Road.
that's how I wanted to walk out of the theater from Oppenheimer, but the bomb wasn't that impressive.
Yeah, it wasn't real enough.
We
needed a real bomb in the
I
back
wanted
of the
to walk
screen.
out of there smoking.
We needed to be charred. We needed some radioactivity going on in the presence. But no, like as far as that part of it goes, yeah, it's just crazy action, and the R rating.
It adds. It's so visceral.
Yeah, it's so visceral.
So
And the editing.
brutal
Do I need to talk about the
and
editing
gory.
of this movie? The
Oh
editing of
my.
this movie
The
is
speed
literally
ramps
God
and
tier.
like,
I'm
oh.
not even playing it when I say some of my favorite editing in a movie ever. Like it's editing that you notice.
Yeah,
number
that's amazing.
one, which is always a good. It's not always a good thing, but it has its ups and downs. But I like that the editing is that good and that it's noticeable. You can notice the speed ramping, the shots that they choose for like certain sequences, like when people are getting blown up and stuff like that, and how they speed it up or how they just keep it at normal speed and then speed it up. Like,
really interesting choices.
it's very interesting visually.
George Miller,
and like
man.
that kind
A
of
magician.
stuff. If there was anything to take away from this movie, it would just overall be the technical elements of it, the sound, the editing, the visuals, the
Absolutely.
the practicality of all the action
The
sequences.
score.
I mean, like, even though this
Junkie
was in production,
XL.
hell, you would think this was like.
Where did
Man.
Junkie XL even come from?
Junkie XL came out of nowhere. I think he
literally-
maybe was like doing some video game work or something. I know a lot of
Bro.
composers be doing that stuff.
He stepped on this project and gave us one of the
Laid his dick out.
hardest
Just laid his entire cock out on the
scores.
table and said, "Eat up,
Wow.
eat up."
What would you say are not your take? Like, what are your gripes?
Well, I mean, the story, and I do feel
is
like
thin.
somewhere in the
It's
second
relatively
act, the
thin.
story does slow down and come to like a complete halt, and it feels weird because like the first hour of the movie is straight adrenaline fueled action,
Yeah,
and then it comes to like this
high-octane.
complete halt, which serves more for Charlize Theron's character, and I think we'll see
Yeah.
more of it. In terms of what it means
Paid
in
off.
Furiosa, yeah,
More of that
I think
paid
we'll
off.
see more of like
Yeah.
what the depth that is there with Charlize Theron's character and that little bit of story that they give her in that
Absolutely.
second act. I think we'll see more of like why that means so much.
I kind of think it was so genius to do a Furiosa prequel because, like I said earlier, this movie, I feel like it had such an impact. And even though the story's not, crazy, it's relatively thin. Like, the plot itself is literally like, go one place and go back. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
if I had to describe it, like,
Yeah.
and the characters aren't anything really fleshed out, but the world and the action and
Okay, I'm just not looking right now. I don't know why I didn't know this. Junkie XL. Remember, he was part of the Magnificent Six in TASM 2, remember?
Oh, he was on that crew.
He was on that
yeah,
crew with
yeah.
Hans and all of them.
Yeah.
And then he did 300 Rise of an Empire, which we all know is the greatest sequel of all time.
Anyways,
right?
Like I was saying, the intricacies of this world, I think, was such a, like, adrenaline shot to the veins that we didn't really care if the story was thin, as long as we got from point A to point B, and with the characters as well, as long as they had some type of arc. I think Fury Road hits on such a high level because so many audiences were introduced to this world through Fury Road.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people have never watched the Mad Max movies.
But even if you had,
so it's so intriguing because the characters, the world, the action, the way people are acting, and how like crazy it is, it's keeping you glued to the seat.
It feels so.
So if they were to make a Fury Road 2.0, I feel like it wouldn't hit because it's something we already expect. We expect the weirdos, the crazy world, and the high octane action. Now what we want is the more character-based stuff. Yeah. Is a better and stronger story.
I mean,
and
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
It was so
I still
smart.
want that action just to, feed my sweet tooth that always wants that bit of action that's going to get me going. But, yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing. Like, I don't think we expect anything to, like, eclipse Fury Road. That's definitely not the case. But I do think that there are other elements of Fury Road that could be better explored, and I feel like
that's why it was so smart to go with the Furiosa.
Yeah, I think that's why Furiosa is like the way to go. And again, like even with the second act stuff in Fury Road, I mean this movie it's the highs are just they're just so high. The highs are so locked
in because you're so
there are no lows. There are no lows.
No, it's like, so investing. Like the world is so unique that you can't help but stay in it.
It feels like there was such a vision like for it, like from the sounds to
the color palette, like that's not how the OG movies look. Like
it feels like you could make an entire like theme park out of the Mad Max franchise, like just because of how the world feels. It almost is like Borderlands if Borderlands felt legit, like if it felt like real, not the Borderlands, not Kate Blanchett Borderlands, the Borderlands game, like and that's I feel like that's the biggest takeaway from it is that George Miller is a mastermind, and like he knows what he's doing as far as like being a visionary and being a creative that's gonna flesh out something that feels well built, and like Fury Road is just like all of that with insane level of action on top of that. Choreography, practicality, explosions, CGI, VFX is unnoticeable. Like cinematography is amazing.
Stunts
editing,
in here are crazy.
Everything as far as the action genre goes, this gives you everything that you ever want at the highest of its abilities. There's no way that I can look at you with a straight face and say no, Mad Max Fury Road is not a masterpiece. It is. It's an action masterpiece, and I mean, we just gotta thank George Miller for giving us this one because it's in my 4K collection and it will never ever leave.
Yeah, I mean, this is just it's at this point I think it's safe we can call it like a classic. It's so certified. The performances in here, they don't need to be anything crazy, but like they still go for it. Like I want to shine like Nicholas Holt's character because his character is unironically like probably like the biggest heart in this movie.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But he's the most wild like person.
And it's not even like
this movie has a guy playing guitar. Yeah, and like the flames coming out. Like where?
Granted, there's a point in the movie where they try to make you feel bad for Nicholas Holt's character, but I just feel like the whole wasteland dynamic and what Nicholas Holt's character is and the role he plays in it, I feel like that provides for a sense of like emotion that's gonna be kind of like, oh man, like there really is nowhere to go. Like there's absolutely like you can't do anything, and I think that's an interesting dynamic that they explore, and it makes Nicholas Holt's character stand out a little bit more. Like even though he's like a little side character, it's good fun. He has great comedic moments. I mean,
every time I watch this movie, I forget Zoe Kravitz is in it until I see her, and I'm like, oh snap, Zoe Kravitz,
the little Catwoman cut. She got a little Catwoman cut. Like what's going on there?
This movie's crazy. If you've never seen this movie, like, you absolutely should turn it on right now and then watch Furiosa in IMAX or the biggest screen that you can, because I know that experience is going to be great.
I just know.
We're coming to the end of this, but I'm going to give you a little fun fact about Fury Road. The flame shooting guitarist is an Australian artist, better known as 𝙎𝙬𝙀𝙀. In an interview, he said the guitar weighed 132 pounds, shot real gas-powered flames, which he controlled using the whammy bar. That's one of the hardest things I've ever heard.
I gotta go play Guitar Hero after this.
We're gonna end it on that. But if you guys liked this video or just like stuff like these reviews, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click that like button, hit that bell that we're notified every time we upload. I mean, we do this weekly, and especially when movies like Furiosa are coming out, we will always revisit some movies. Yeah, guys, if you enjoyed it, do all that. Leave your comments below on your thoughts on Fury Road.
Please let us know.
Anything, and we will leave our thoughts on Furiosa on the channel soon. But other than that, it's been found footage. That's all, folks.
Is he allowed to say that legally?